first question of many that I can ask you tonight. Yeah, I got this new book and it's 3001 questions all about you. And I figured that we can just relax, vibe, and I can ask you a bit of questions. I don't know how many yet, but until we get tired, then I'll stop and then you can just come back again if you'd like. Alright, well, I think this should be fun and you can answer honestly with me, okay? There's no judgment. These are kind of personal, some of them, not all, but a lot random as well, and I'll just write them down. It's very confidential, just between me and you, and this is your safe space, okay? So sit back, relax, you can even shut your eyes if you'd like, and answer in your head or out loud to me, and I'll write them down. Alright, so last I did was 111, so let's go to 112. Alright, so are you ready? Yes, I'm not going to give much time because we tend to overthink and sometimes maybe second guess our first instinct, so we're just going to go with first instinct, okay? Okay, let's begin. Have you ever screamed when you were upset? What's your favorite outdoor activity? What is one thing you do not like to share? Mountain climbing. Have you ever done it, and would you ever want to do it? Would you run a marathon? Can you describe your childhood bedroom? What was your favorite TV theme song growing up? What do you picture when you picture yourself getting old? Have you ever walked barefoot on a sidewalk, and why? Do you like going to weddings? Is there a wedding you've gone to where you had a lot of fun? Do you believe in marriage? What is your favorite book that turned into a movie? Are you good with power tools? Do you like when people help you, or are you better off doing things alone? Have you ever felt lonely? When was the last time you called your parents, and what did you talk about? What is the last email you sent? What's the last text message you sent? You can check if you want. Do you have a favorite Walt Disney film? Do you believe in miracles? Have you pretended to be like someone? Do you disguise your emotions well? What are you like when you're sick? definition of beauty? What is your favorite decade? Do you have a favorite magazine? Okay. Do you have a favorite website? Have you ever laughed uncontrollably, and why? What is your favorite poem? What is your definition of paradise? Do you have what it takes to be a teacher? How do you define love? Have you ever prank called someone? Have you ever confessed to something you did not do? And if you haven't, would you? What is your relationship to money? What is your favorite kind of cuisine? If you could make one law, what would it be? If you wrote a memoir, I think that's how you pronounce it, what would the name of it be? Do you remember who taught you how to tie your shoe? What is your best memory of your kindergarten teacher? Have you ever told someone that you are in love with them? Have you ever thought you were in love but then realized that you weren't? Are you a nervous flyer, or are you pretty comfortable being in an airplane? Have you ever gone to the movies alone, and what was it like? If not, would you do it? Do you have a hobby, and if not, what should it be? What is the thing that you've always known you could do right? Okay. Do you want to learn horseback riding? Who is your best friend, and what are they like? Okay. What do you love most about your best friend? Do you remember your high school graduation, and were you excited? Are you an overly sensitive person? What is the first thing you notice when you meet someone? Do you care what people think? What are your 3 worst habits? What habits do you want to cultivate? And if you could learn to cook a specialty dish, who would be the best teacher? Okay. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself tomorrow? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Okay. If you could go back in time to speak to a family member, who would it be? What are 2 things that make you want to give someone a hug? Where do you want to retire? What kind of boss would you be? What kind of boss do you want to be? If you could take one thing if you could take one thing with you to a deserted island, what would it be? How do you like to spend your days off? Okay. When you go out, how do you like to dress? What's your favorite ice cream topping? Who's your in case of emergency, and why are they the best person to call if there was an emergency? If you could change your name, what would you change it to? Perfect. You're doing great. If you could go to the jungle and bring an animal with you as a pet, what animal would it be? If you could buy anything in the world, what would it be? What is the first thing that you would give up if your life depended on it? When is the time? When's the moment you think that you'd feel you've made it and become a success? Like what's that gonna do? What's it gonna do for you? Okay. What is your go-to drink at the bar? who's the first person you can when something bad, okay, sorry, who's the first person you can call when something bad happens? What's the one smell that reminds you of summer? What is the one smell that reminds you of fall? What's the one smell that reminds you of spring? And what is the one smell that reminds you of winter? Who is the most important person in your life? Who is the one person that you want to give your eulogy at your funeral? Or who do you want to give your eulogy? What is the one thing that you would not want for the person giving your eulogy to say? When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? What was the name of your first pet and what were they like? When you wake up, what is the first thing you think about? Who has held a special place in your heart? What is going to be the biggest challenge of the next generation? When you grow older, what's the story you will repeatedly tell anyone who will listen? Do you have any regrets? What is a scene from your life that you will replay over again in your head constantly? Has anyone called you crazy and did it offend you? Do you consider yourself good at adapting? What kind of spouse do you want to be? Alright, and what is the one thing that has made you the angriest? Let's go to the next. Have you ever been wrong? What is the greatest meal you've ever eaten? What are the 5 habits that you admire in another person? Okay, perfect. Who is the most charming person that you know? What was your experience learning to ride a bike? What are you generally grateful for? Have you ever considered shaving your head? Do you prefer roller coasters or Ferris wheels? What was your favorite subject in elementary school? Do you like your boss and why? Do you like playing in the snow and why? What is your favorite snack? Have you ever broken up with someone? Have you ever mentored someone and would you want to? Who is the last person you had dinner with and what was it like? If you could donate $1 million to any charity, which would you give the money to? If you could insert yourself as a star of one of your favorite movies, which would it be? Can you recite your favorite poem from memory and write it down? What is the first thing that you do when you are unplugged? What is your favorite TV show right now? If you were told that you have one more hug to give in your entire life, who would you give it to? What is one giveaway to people around you that you are happy? Would you sell your pet for $1 million? If you could go on TV and interview anyone, who would it be? If you could only have one photograph on your mantle, which would it be? What is the craziest thing that you've ever seen on the street? Okay. Do you feel like your life is moving forward or backward? Is there a goal you feel you've put off in accomplishing? Are you scared of shots at the doctor's office? Are you afraid of the dark? How did you sleep last night? Have you ever wanted to ask a question but know that you would not like the answer? What do you love learning about? What is the best road trip that you've ever been on? What do you feel is good in your life? What do you need to do today or tomorrow if it's nighttime? What questions do you always ask without hesitation? Is there anything that you'd rather be doing during your free time? What is the most embarrassing thing that you've ever lived through? What is the worst argument that you've ever been in? Is someone ignoring you, and if so, how do you feel about it? Okay. What do you feel the world needs? What part of your life are you trying to keep a secret from people? What can't you bring yourself to believe? What is your favorite day of the week? Have you ever cried over spilled milk? Do you have a big imagination? Did you have a big imagination as a child? What is the best holiday that you've ever had? Do you like long walks? What is the best thing that you've ever made? How do you tend to comfort people? What is the last thing that you learned that blew you away? was your favorite candy growing up, and is there a memory attached to it? What is your favorite pizza topping? When you were a kid, who was your favorite relative? What is the one thing that you always did on Saturday mornings when you were a kid? What do you think about when you look at your parents? When you look outside your window, what do you see? What can you do to help the state of the world? Okay. What is your least favorite color? Do you know the story of the day that you were born? What is your least favorite smell? Who are you the most confident in when it comes to who you are? Or no, wait. What are you the most confident in when it comes to who you are? Okay. And if you had to describe yourself in one word, what would it be? What do you answer when someone asks you, "Can you tell me about yourself?" As you grow older, what's the one thing that you want to keep with you? What was it like the first time you went to a bar? Is there a mystery that you would like to solve? What is the last thing that you read that you can't wait to tell people about? What is the first job that you ever got paid for? How much was your first paycheck for? Who is the one who is on the top of your guest list for your birthday celebration? What do you consider to be a good marriage? Who do you consider to be a living angel? Have you ever been called bossy, and how did that make you feel? Do you sleep with the door open or closed? Have you ever been in a bad accident? Have you ever been depressed? Have you ever been the bad guy? Okay. do you feel when you hear a recording of your own voice? What is your favorite thing about being in a car? Have you ever broken a promise? Have you ever won a competition? Have you ever jumped for joy? What is the story that you have told over and over again? How do you view time? What is the sweetest thing that anyone has ever done for you? Who have you told your biggest secret to? Who have you disappointed? What is your favorite movie genre? What is your favorite beverage? Why do or don't you keep a planner? What would surprise people to hear about you? What is the worst typo that you've ever typed? Have you ever been in a physical fight? Have you ever been ashamed of something? Could you be a politician? Who do you think about a lot? Do you hold grudges easily? Do you judge people easily? Are you a competitive person? Okay. We're gonna do a little more. Would you like that? Yeah. Sit back, relax, and keep your mind answering these questions. Alright, when's the last time you took a deep breath? When will you be the person you set out to be? Have you ever learned a shocking secret about someone? Who do you think is the most dangerous person in the world? Have you ever borrowed something and never returned it? Have you ever told someone that they are good at something and you didn't believe it? What is your favorite thing in a coffee shop? What is the scariest movie that you've ever seen? Has someone ever interrogated you? Who taught you how to cook? What is the best first impression that you've ever made? Have you ever been kind to a stranger? When are you the most tired? Why are you doing this? Why are you answering these questions? Okay. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear kindness? If you could move anywhere, where would it be? Have you bought flowers for someone? Have you opened the door for someone? What is the longest you've gone without speaking to someone? How do you feel when you see old video footage of you? If you were asked to be on a reality TV show, would you say yes or no? What is your morning wake-up routine? When will you be able to say what you want? What does your dream house look like? If you could go on any adventure, what would you choose? Do you need to speak up more? If there was a list called New Me, what would you add to it? What makes you lose your concentration? Are you addicted to your cell phone? Do you judge people who are addicted to their cell phone? Why did you wear the clothes you're wearing today? If you had a superpower, what would it be and why? If you could host one game show, which would it be? What is your favorite spot where you live? Have you ever skinny dipped, and would you? What is all you need? How do you ensure that you never least about your body and why? Do you like to dance? If you could speak one more language, which would it be? How would you pass the days in tranquility? Have you ever screamed at someone? How do you make sure you remember the good times that you've had with old friends? What is the one thing that you've always wanted to dream about while you were asleep and just never have? What is the wildest thing that you've done? What is something that you've done that you thought was wild but really wasn't? What is the most bizarre thing that you've done for money? Who have you seen bloom into an amazing person? Have you ever made someone cry but never meant to? Have you ever promised someone that you will never let them down? Have you ever been suspicious of someone? If you didn't have love for those around you, what would it be like? Do you like having leftovers? Have you ever wanted to do something and have been stopped? Okay. Do you know how to play chess, and do you like playing? But if not, do you want to learn? Have you ever physically run away from something? Have you ever physically ran away from a person? Do you have a fear of dying young? When you hear birds singing, what do you think about? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in religion? How often do you stop to breathe? Have you ever skipped going to bed, and why? Has there been someone who has left your life and you feel great about it? When was the last time that you rested? When was the last time you physically called on someone? Not too many to go. Have you ever chain smoked? When was the last time you felt 100% alive? How many times has someone lied to you? Do you like being around animals? Who is the one person that has changed your life? Do you like change? Have you ever chased someone? Have you ever chased something? Has anyone ever told you that they were going to teach you something? Who is the most toxic person in your life right now? What do you think about when you look at a clock? Who do you know that always looks good? What is the main thing that you consider to be prerogative? And last one, what are you the most grateful for today? Okay, perfect. Well, you did absolutely wonderful. I hope you enjoyed